just turn this a little bit. Oh, now you can see my bed. I just recovered from a cold, so bear with me. I've got my... That's quite bright. My head's being cut off. Maybe I need an extra book on my stack of books. Up you get. Am I still in focus? It's hard to tell. Okay. I think it's in focus. I didn't do one of these last year. I thought it would be fun to do sort of like a video essay type thing with like clips from the movies and like a countdown with music in the background. But then I got bored and then my free trial for Final Cut Pro ran out, and so the whole thing kind of just died. Anyway, by that time it was like February, so I was like, well, I can't just make a new one because then by the time I finished it'll be March, and March is too late to make a top 10 or top 20 or whatever of the year. That is... Anyway, the point I'm getting at here is that I will now quickly catch you up on the best films of 2021. So... There are too many movies for the list. There's too many. They can't fit. So here are the ones that couldn't fit on the list because there are too many to fit on the list. Big mistake I made making the one of this from 2 years ago. I didn't have a script. It was just kind of a stream of consciousness from my brain right into the camera, and I just kind of expected everything to work out when I was editing it. That was a big mistake. A very big one. So now I have a script. I also have a mic so that the audio doesn't sound terrible. I should probably point it more towards me. So I've got everything that a professional YouTuber needs, really. And one last thing before I start the actual thing. It's currently the 29th of December. Happy birthday, Nicole. I should probably text her, actually. Happy birthday, Nicole. You're the best. Say hi to YouTube. Let's see if she responds. She responded. She said, hi, YouTube. Everyone wish her a happy birthday. Anyway, it's the 29th of December, so there might have been some that I didn't quite get, or some that haven't come out yet in the next 2 days. So, on the screen right now are some ones that I didn't see that might have been good, but they might have been really bad, so who knows. Such a long intro. When is the actual video gonna start? I actually have to check to see if I have 20 movies on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm telling you, that scene where they were on the beach, I was transported. They were playing, like, football with 2 balls? I don't know, I wasn't paying attention to the game, I'll tell you that much. This year was a great year for sequels. We gotta pick this up. Next one. The award for the most misleading trailer ever made goes to this movie. Well, also Eyes Wide Shut probably gets that.
I have seen 1 or 2 things in my life, but never anything like this.
I remember when this came out, it was around October. It was October. It was around Halloween. It was trending on Letterboxd, and I was like, ugh, you know, what is really going to be very special about that movie? It's just some, like, October Halloween release horror movie. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the trailer. I don't really watch trailers. But I was, like, resigned to not watching this movie. I don't even know why I decided to watch it. I think it might have been on my Halloween list, because it was, like, one of the most popular horror movies that I hadn't seen yet. I don't know. But I watched it, and as you may tell from the fact that it's on the list, I'm glad that I watched it. I get the feeling that Ethel Cain might like this movie. Mother. I don't know who thought of this or who decided this was a good idea, but I think they were right. This is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre for annoying rich people. Like if you condensed everything wrong with Zoomers into like 5 people and shoved them in a house and made them kill each other.
First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and you build a following. It takes a long fucking time.
Maria Baklava, Rachel Sennett. Oh my god, is that Rue from the Hunger Games? Yes. And also Pete Davidson, playing very annoying, very rich, very teenage people. Except, isn't Pete Davidson like 30? Millennials taking Gen Z jobs. Gen Z? Gen Z. Gen Z. Maybe millennials are ruining the world. Bit of a tonal shift here. This one's about a man living in Denmark telling the story of how he fled from Afghanistan as a child. And in order to hide his identity, the whole thing is animated. I watched this on the 18th of February, like a week before Russia fully invaded Ukraine. This might be the most pressing movie of the year in terms of like its relevance to current day news. It is an unbelievable true story. In the context of all of the conflicts and wars and killings going on in the world right now, this thing hits like a train. But also, it's not just about war. There's like a love story and a coming of age story, and it all kind of works together to give you a sort of impression of someone that you don't even know. And I think it's just that. It's a very beautiful film. Oh my. An animated movie followed by another animated movie, which I do not think could be more different. Oh my god, what a crazy film. Phil Tippett, the special effects mastermind behind Jurassic Park, RoboCop, RoboCop 2.
What the hell is that?
RoboCop 3. 2 Twilight movies. Howard the Duck.
Oh, good boy. Stay back, stay back. Gotta help Howard, Bill! Gotta help Howard!
Okay, Return of the Jedi. This guy made Jabba the Hutt. Okay, pay your goddamn respects. Anyway, he spent like 30 years making this in between working all those jobs. And oh my god, this fucking film. It's so grotesque. Oh my god, it's gross. It's so crazy. And the craziest part of this film is that it's like all practical effects. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 uses of CGI where they like get people to dance and they like shrink them down. This bitch is like the Christopher Nolan of animation. It's everything that you would expect from a dystopian sci-fi stop motion psychological horror movie with no dialogue that one guy made in his studio all alone over the past 30 years. Like if you can picture that movie in your head, I think you've got a pretty good understanding of what this movie is going to be like. This is the movie that Ingle Cutbirth showed B. Rosenberg or Rosenberg. I don't think anyone's going to understand what the fuck that means, but oh well. I do not want to talk about this movie, so I'm not going to. Okay, Mitski Cutbirth, a song by Lily Choo. It puts it in the top 20 by that alone. In your head, picture any science fiction movie. Alien, Inception, Blade Runner, Terminator, whatever. They're all pretty loud, like, big, in-your-face action movies with a lot of, like, action. That's kind of the stereotypical sci-fi movie. You know, they're very grand, very big budget. Even the ones which aren't very action heavy, they're still pretty big, like Interstellar. You wouldn't say that's like a small budget movie, would you? Obviously there are some exceptions to this stereotype, but they only really show up every couple of years, and this is definitely one of those movies. It's like a quiet, contemplative look at the impact of cloning, or it's not cloning, it's about androids. Oh my god, I've actually forgotten that's not a good sign. Okay, it's androids. It's not cloning, it's androids. It doesn't really make you go like, holy shit, this is crazy. It just kind of stops you in your tracks. You just kind of are confronted with this serene calm. Like, it just is very quiet. And that Mitski song is great, so... Marcel, are you kidding? Oh my god, this is such a good movie. What is there to say? Like, what can you say about this movie that it's just so beautiful, emotional, heartfelt, joyful, pure movie, and it's about a fucking shell? A seashell with shoes? Are you kidding? There's a scene at the end of this, which might be my favorite of the year. I think it might be the last scene. Main character, title character, Mr. Marcel the Shell himself. He's like speaking about what it feels like to be part of a family. It's just such a beautiful scene.
And I felt like everything was in pieces, and then I stood there and suddenly we were one large instrument.
So weird that like a tiny little shell with fake shoes and googly eyes could have an effect on me that is so profound. Look, it's like might be the most boring topic for a movie ever, okay? It's a shell. It's a movie about a shell with eyes that talks. Like, but It's like an enigma. This is based on like some stupid like 30-year-old 15-minute YouTube video. This video is like 15 minutes of just this shell, this guy just going around getting into mischief. And I heard that they were making a feature-length film out of it, and I was like, what? What are they gonna do with this? How are they gonna what? And you know what? I still don't know how they did it, but somehow they did. They pulled it off. They got it. They did it. I don't know what to say to you. What I'm trying to say is this movie is great and you should watch it. Watch Out Liberals. You know that one movie that came out this year with Zoe Deutsch pronunciation. Zoe Deutsch. You know that movie with Zoe Deutsch that came out this year?
Do you want to share?
And it had a title card at the start that's like, warning, this movie contains a problematic female lead. Watch out, libtards. Well, I can't speak for that movie because I didn't watch it, but what I can say is that that is what this movie's like. The most New York Film Critics Circle best film to ever film. I think that's also because it's the most New York-y movie to ever New York. Cate Blanchett gives possibly my favourite performance of the year. She better win the Oscar. She better win that Oscar. This is a bit like Taxi Driver, or I guess any Paul Schrader movie, but instead of a psychotic Sigma incel murderer or a suicidal priest, it's neurotic lesbian composer Cate Blanchett. Such a depressing film. It's kind of like a battle between letting go of cancel culture and also not being a horrible person. Lydia Tarr is your problematic fave. She's like if Woody Allen in Annie Hall was a girl boss. I don't know where this analogy is going. Anyway, I hope the guy that directed this, I can't remember his name, doesn't take another 13 years to make his next movie because I want him to make more because this one was really good. It's hard to talk about this movie because it pretty much just speaks for itself. Like, it's not particularly difficult to understand. It's not like filled with subtext or anything. It's just two guys on an island in Ireland just having a tiff. Maybe there's some like big message that the movie's trying to get across, like what conflict means or whatever. I don't care. Those things can just affect me subconsciously, and that's what Martin McDonagh and his movies do so well. He gets something which is kind of boring and then just kind of makes it funny, and then the lights come up and you're like, oh jeez. I get the feeling that this will take home a few Oscars. Not really like big ones, maybe screenplay. I don't know if it'll get Best Picture. If it gets Best Picture, I'll be surprised. I won't be like devastated. But knowing the Academy, they're probably gonna give it to like Don't Worry Darling or something. The Tom Holland Uncharted movie wins Best Picture. I am just a little cannibal girl in a little cannibal world, abandoned by my father who's a little bit creeped out by me constantly munching on my friend's fingers. But what's this? The guy from the Tiny Horse SNL sketch is loitering nearby and I get pulled into his orbit and we go on a search for my missing mother. That's pretty cool. Did you ever see that movie Raw by Julie Ducournau? It's also about a cannibal. She also eats a finger in that movie. Is this the same movie? Well, no, because Raw is psychological horror and this is primarily a romance. It has like a whole different vibe. Like it has the aesthetic of that movie My Own Private Idaho, but then the subject matter of eating people. Timothy Chalamet, aka the Yeet skirt guy from that SNL sketch with Pete Davidson. Yeet, yeet, skirt! Yeet, yeet, skirt! Taylor Russell does an amazing job here. If the trajectory of Timothy Chalamet's career is anything to go by after starring in Call Me By Your Name, this bitch is going to be living up on Arrakis with Zendaya this time next year. When I got out of the cinema after watching this, I was a mess. Not like emotionally, but I just had no idea what to think. It also didn't help that my brother was next to me being like, it's about animals. Like, yes, okay, I get it, but let me think. Anyway, after some snooping on YouTube, which, by the way, just let me say this for a second. Watching stuff on YouTube to figure out what a movie's about is not a bad thing. Okay, watching a video like blah 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 ending explained is not bad if you're confused about what the movie means. Like, you're confused, you watch the video, you're not confused anymore. It's a win-win-win-win situation. So what is the... I don't know why people get so worked up about it. Anyway, after some snooping on YouTube, it finally clicked in my head. And it turns out it's not just about animals. That Bible verse at the beginning, that's the key to the whole thing. That's how we get to the bottom of this. That's Anyway, yeah, it's like an exploitation movie about exploitation, about spectacle and grief and trauma. There are many different ways to read it, but that's the fun. That's the fun of it. You can read it whatever way you want. If you want to read it like it's about animals, you can do that. If you want to read it like it's about exploitation, you can do that. If you want to read it as like an allegory for the assassination of JFK, you can do that. It's up to you. It's subjective. This beautiful art form. Okay, next one. No. This is like a wrecking ball of a movie, okay? It's like if you just put in all the sadness and grief and regret of everyone's life experience into one thing. One of the only films that really understands that kids are just as complex as grown-up people. Grown-up people, just say adult. The best child actor of the year. Sorry to the kid from Armageddon Time, you just don't cut it. And also the best dance sequence of the year. Next. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That picture of Willem Dafoe will forever be hilarious. Bjork, you will always be famous. She was in that movie for like 2 minutes, and she was responsible for approximately 50% of the ticket sales, and they were all from gay people. It's like her and Anya Taylor-Joy provide the fag market for this movie, plus all of the shirtless men. Anyways, with the movie, unsurprisingly, it's a pretty intense film. Robert Eggers, he never fails to impress me with his historical accuracy. You know, I wonder how many of the actors on the set of this movie contracted, like, what were some infections that were around in medieval Iceland? Wonder how many of the actors got TB or leprosy or trypanomatosis while filming this. If you could possibly imagine it, this is like Game of Thrones, but with more violence and less dragon. Alexander Skarsgård eats a guy's face. Ethan Hawke pretends to be a dog and eats out of a bowl. Anya Taylor-Joy smears period blood on some guy's face. Bjork is in it.
I have reader.
And of course, it can't be a Nicole Kidman film if she doesn't have raging psychosexual issues. When I first heard about this movie, I was like, oh, they're making a movie about the dark web. This will not be good. This will be bad. But I could not have been more wrong. It's maybe the first truly realistic representation of the sort of psychological damage that unrestricted access to the internet can cause. There's no romanticization. It doesn't romanticize it. It's like a Lynchian cyber nightmare. It's really, really horrifying, actually. It's a very, very eerie, beautiful thing that asks all of the questions and gives you nothing. I'm glad the internet didn't turn me into a crazy psycho. So he's like, what, 15? And she's, what, like 18? Higher? Like 20? Higher? She's what? I don't know if you know this, but the way that Paul Thomas Anderson makes his movies is very, very wanky. He doesn't really plan them out that much. He's very character focused. So he'll just write 2 or 3 characters and they'll have quite opposing central forces, and he'll just plonk them in the middle of somewhere and just let them sort of guide him and let the story write itself. Like, they just do their thing and he goes along with it, and then there's a story for you. Like, he knows where they start, he knows where they end up, and he just lets them guide him from point A to point B. The inciting incident of his movies are usually just 2 characters meeting. They just meet and then the story springs from there. Go watch any Paul Thomas Anderson movie post Boogie Nights and it will be blindingly obvious, I promise. It's like weird how much he does it. Anyway, the movie. Okay, I get that the age gap thing is like kind of off-putting, but to be honest, I think the focusing on like the problematicness of the story is kind of missing the point. Like, yeah, it's bad. Obviously it's bad. It's bad in the same way that every other relationship that Paul Thomas Anderson explores in his other works is bad. So being like, I don't like this movie because it's got an age difference, come on. I think it's much better to look at it like presenting this very complicated, very layered relationship and the motivations of the characters who are in it. And when you're in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, your motivations are crystal clear, okay? He makes sure that the audience knows what you're thinking. It's just 2 characters with very opposing driving energies, and they interact and they like rub up against each other, and then there's friction, and then that friction creates action and story, and then they ping off on their own narrative trajectories and they kind of orbit each other. Although I am desperate, and I mean desperate, for a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie like The Master or There Will Be Blood, something really gritty and dramatic and like rough. His comedies are just so great. Like, they're just so fun and goofy. I think he's the closest we're gonna get to like a new Kubrick. He's got a 1999 movie with Tom Cruise, for crying out loud. They're basically the same person. I love this movie. My favorite parts are the zany, wacky, goofy side characters played by ludicrously famous people who show up for like 2 minutes and then they fuck off for the rest of the movie. Sean Penn is in this. Sean Penn is an actor who...
I know who Sean Penn is. I seen Milk.
Tom Waits, Maya Rudolph, Bradley Cooper.
Streisand.
Sand.
Streisand.
Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
Harriet Sansom Harris in this movie. Harriet Sansom Harris from Frasier. Yeah, screw Kate Blanchett. Her performance was the best of the year.
No!
Love to Tatum. Are you athletic?
Apologies to Julia Ducournau, this should have won the Palme d'Or at Cannes last year. I'm sorry. What an emotionally dense movie this is. Like a spool of yarn just unraveling in front of your eyes. The whole conceit of the movie is that this woman, played wonderfully by the amazing Miss Tilda Swinton. When are we gonna make her a dame, by the way? Dame Tilda Swinton. That's what it should be, right? Anyway, she keeps hearing this like banging noise. Only she can hear it. And she goes around trying to get help to stop hearing it. Like, she goes to this musician, she goes to a composer, whatever. And there's this sort of weird hypnotic quality about the noise where you just kind of want to keep hearing it again. You're like, when is the next time that noise is going to play? Like, it just fills a sort of space. It's so cathartic. It was weird. I felt like I was under some sort of spell or something. It's kind of weird and esoteric, but it's not like unintelligible. There's a scene where Tilda Swinton's character sits beside a guy next to like a riverbank somewhere while he goes to sleep. And it fully looks like he's dead. It just stays on him for like 5 minutes and then he wakes up and the movie just keeps going again. Like, the movie was saying, let's slow down this already very slow movie and just take a moment to relax and be calm. Such a weird moment that is like hauntingly beautiful. Who knew a movie about murder could be so sexy? I'll be honest, being a suspect in his murder case is a weird meet cute, but I fuck with it, I can't lie. Park Chan-wook, director of such sensual psychological fever dreams, and also such savage, violent, crazy, murderous action movies, he has it both ways. When faced with a choice, do both. A cop procedural that just so happens to be the sexiest, horniest, most emotional movie of the year, only he could pull it off. This new school of like Korean neo-noir thrillers is so cool. Like, come on. You saw Parasite, and I know you saw Parasite because everyone saw Parasite, but there's a whole collection of this shit just waiting to be explored. And I think this movie is a really good place to start because it's just so goddamn entertaining. It's like an Alfred Hitchcock movie, but with lots of like sensual eye contact and poignant silences. The multiverse is so in right now. For such a popular film, I don't really remember much of my hype around this. It just sort of came out and I was like, well, I have to see that now. I think I saw a trailer on Instagram and I was like, what is Daniels? Turns out there are 2 directors and they're both called Daniel. I have the 4K Blu-ray. Here it is. It must be like a German import or something because all of it is in German. Ein Film von Daniels. Anyways, funny story. This movie facilitated my best cinema experience of the year and also my worst. The first time it was like there were like 5 people in the room and no one laughed. It was silent for the whole thing. It was awful. It was so awkward. I hate even thinking about it. But then the second time was great because a bunch of my friends came with me and the cinema was kind of packed and everyone laughed, everyone cried, everyone clapped. Okay, people didn't clap. It was so beautiful. If this wins Best Picture at the Oscars this year, oh, I realize I haven't really talked much about the actual movie, but in the end, it's something so like indescribable and kind of weirdly profound that I can't really explain it. Like, just go watch it. Why waste my time telling you when I could just go watch it again? So go watch it. Now, Everything Everywhere was my #1 movie of the year for like most of the year. It came out in like March and I was like, well, that's it. It's done. #1 movie for the whole year. But then in mid-December, a certain film happened and it just blew everything out of the water. Pun unintended. You know, sometimes when you leave the cinema and you're like, it's kind of a shame that that's over, I wish it was longer. This movie is like that to the extreme. And it's a long ass movie. There is an Avatar 2 shaped hole in my heart that needs to be filled ASAP. For like the first 2 weeks after this came out, all I thought about was this movie. The crazy thing about this film is that I don't think there's a single unentertaining scene. Like, you could skip to any scene in the film and you'd just be enthralled. You'd be like, well, now I'm watching this because this is great. It's bananas how good this movie is. James Cameron, I've always said he's one of the greatest directors ever. Like, he knows how to make a blockbuster. He knows why to make a blockbuster. He knows the kind of stories that blockbusters can tell. Really human, but huge in their spectacle. It's crazy. And this guy, he like drops under the radar for 10 years at a time, then comes to the surface and is like, here's the best movie of the year, and then he goes away again. Did you see Titanic? Basically, it's like, save the whales, because look at all these pretty whales. Save the oceans, because look how beautiful the ocean is. This is a perfect example of CGI doesn't need to look terrible. Like, the whole movie is CGI, but it looks like it could have been taken straight from Planet Earth or something. Blue Planet 2, The Way of Water. And oh my god, don't get me started on the visuals. This film is so beautiful. It fills me with like a childlike sense of whimsy and wonder. It's like rediscovering film as a form. It's like seeing what it is for the first time again. It's crazy. I mean, what else can I say? It's Blue People. Just a very good film, which I think is the best one. Anyway, you could probably randomize the order of this list and it would still end up being correct. Bye!